Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Ben. How are you guys doing today? What I have for you today in this video is I want to talk to you guys about what may be coming in the next refresh of MacBooks. I don't know if it's going to be in the upcoming ones that are supposed to be announced later this month. I haven't found out all the details on when Apple is actually going to host that event. But, you know, there was an article that I read, which the link will be in the description below, where it talked about how there was a code in macOS Sierra that may indicate that Apple may stop using Intel processors in their Macs. Now, they've been using Intel, after the PowerPC processors since 2005, and now Apple may be looking to stop using Intel processors and start using the ARM processors, kind of like the ones that they used in the iPhone 7. Now, what's the difference? Well, here's the thing. Intel processors, we all know that they're most common on laptops and desktops these days, where it's pretty much used to run certain applications, certain software that's made for the full desktop experience. Whereas if you have an ARM processor, most likely you're going to find it on a tablet or smartphone where you can run full screen apps, but you can't run the full size desktop applications that you would find on a normal desktop, such as in a laptop or a desktop, whether it's a Mac or PC. And Apple may be looking to ditch Intel and then start using the ARM processors. And the good thing for Apple is that with the ARM processor, they can automatically convert apps in case if the developers, if they want to upgrading their hardware or something. It makes it easier for developers to convert their apps with the newer products, if that makes any sense. So it's like, okay, let's say if Apple released a new product and all of a sudden there was a big hardware change, like for instance, a bigger screen on the iPhone, and then, Apple's developers will have to upscale their apps so that it can support a bigger screen real estate. Now, here's a concern that I have, because I was just doing some research, and that is what I've gathered about the difference between the ARM processor and the Intel processor. And if that was true, how is it that these Macs will be able to run full desktop supported applications if the ARM processors don't really support that? I mean, that's what I was getting. It's like, okay, if you get a tablet or a smartphone, it's most common that these chips are on there, and they're perfect for the multiple devices because you're running the apps at full screen. And you can do the same thing on a normal computer, or a traditional computer, I should say. But how is it that you're supposed to run dedicated desktop applications with the ARM processor? That's what I'm not understanding right here. Would Apple really make such a move? Intel is not dying out or anything, because Intel processors have been used for more than a few years now. And when it comes to CPU competition, there's Intel and AMD. Now, for Mac products, I normally don't see any AMD products on there other than the graphics cards. But in terms of the CPUs, most likely it's Intel, and the ones that were before that were PowerPC, with the PowerPC G5, G4, and G3. But those are gone away right now. Those are very old CPU brands. But do you think Apple should make the move to go from Intel processors to the ARM processors? Well, here's the thing. The ARM processors apparently is supposed to help save battery life on mobile devices. If Apple were to do that, they could do it on a couple Macs, but I don't suggest them doing it on every single Mac. Because so far, it sounds like, okay, not every dedicated or traditional desktop application can support this kind of processor. And what I'm thinking about is, okay, maybe iMovie or Microsoft Office, apps like that. Well, actually, iMovie might be able to run on the ARM processor, but what if you have Microsoft Office? That's what I'm thinking might not be capable on the ARM processor unless you get a modified version where it's a full screen app. I hope this makes sense to any of you guys. We're talking about CPUs right here. Me personally, I could see Apple doing this on possibly the MacBook Air and just the regular MacBook that's in between the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. But if you want to talk MacBook Pro, iMac, Mac Pro, even the Mac Mini, I'd say those would definitely have to stick with Intel. You know, I would say Apple should try doing it on a couple devices first, and if it winds up working out, and they can roll out those same CPUs on the more powerful machines, and to be a little bit more power efficient, then they can start rolling it out. Otherwise, you know, everything else should just stick to Intel. And me personally, I think Intel is still the way to go. And who knows what's going to happen with the future of hardware. I mean, hardware I don't really pay attention to much, because it's like once Intel announces a new product, that particular product is outdated within a day. Because after a couple weeks, then there's going to be a new version of that product coming out. You know, the same goes for like NVIDIA GeForce graphics cards. You know, we're talking about computer parts in general. Once something is first released, it's going to be obsolete within a day or two. That's how hardware is. That's why hardware, I'm not so focused on it, and I'm not going to be so exaggerated if I don't have the latest hardware out there. At least if I have something that's close to the latest that's out there, and that works best for me, and that's fast. And as long as I got great piece of software to utilize that kind of hardware at its full potential, I'm completely happy. And, you know, in this case, I'm kind of concerned about how the ARM processor is going to go out when it's being run on the Macs. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think this would be a great move for Apple? I mean, do you agree or disagree with me? I'd like to see what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment. Also check out the description below for my social media links, Twitter and Instagram. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.